This is kind of no doubt a planned deal for the 2 days, Thursday and Friday, to be there in the name of adversity, right? The difficulty, a change of environs. So says Mike Norvell. I think obviously it's a chance to recruit, in essence, in Jacksonville. That's what this is. He'll tell you it's about, he actually said, and I'm paraphrasing, well, when you're on the road like this, you're out of your comfort zone and you can't control the environment. Okay. He went on to say you can't control the weather. You can't control the weather here, Mike. The weather is going to be the weather, baby.
Yeah, the best you can do is practice in the mornings. That's the best you can do here.
Yeah,
and then you got to roll the dice.
Well, he practiced in the morning over there.
Yeah. Remember back in the days when they used to practice in the afternoon for fall camp, and then they'd be in the turf room? That turf room for 2 hours?
Yeah. It's hot as Hades. I got to tell you, the indoor practice facility, which is a beautiful looking facility, vastly superior to the University of Miami's, which is only 70 yards and looks stupid. Ours looks stunningly beautiful, and I love it. But I would hate practicing in that. I would much rather practice outside where it's blazingly hot, but I can feel a breeze every now and again. When you get in that indoor practice facility, even though it's not as hot, I feel like it's stifling. I hate standing there.
Is that right?
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, wow. So when we were there,
I hate it.
We were there together on Saturday for session 2 because session 2 was inside. No, I was happy with it because
not me.
Okay, well,
I wanted to be outdoors.
That's established.
Yeah.
You take one step outside from the shadows into the sun, and you could feel a 25-degree difference. I was glad for the IPF on Saturday.
No, man. We would have been at Hauser under the overhang in the shade. You wouldn't have been standing out there on the field. You'd have been fine.
But as the afternoon wears on, the third baseline is where the sun starts falling. So then
you would have been fine.
You're in the sizzler.
No, man. I can't stand it. I'm not a fan. I want to be outdoors all day. I think it's flashbacks to the one and only year I was at Etsu, and we practiced in the mini dome on artificial turf, and it sucked. I hated it. But that's back when artificial turf was concrete, where it swept the nation by storm. Outdoor stadiums in beautifully temperate climates for no reason whatsoever other than maintenance decided to throw down AstroTurf, and it ripped you to pieces. It was awful. People forget University of Florida had AstroTurf for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, you revealed that to me a few years back that you went to games with your stepdad, and that was what the field looked like.
Yeah, Emmett Smith played on artificial turf.
In the swamp? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. That's the way it used to be. It swept the nation. People went crazy for it. They couldn't wait. For whatever reason. They loved the idea of
You're faster.
You about die of heat stroke on AstroTurf. When that sun hits that stuff, oh my God, it's awful. I'm probably not too much about weather. The point is, Coach Norvell can't control the weather in Jacksonville or here. And he was saying, well, we want to come over here somewhere where we can't control the environment and can't control the weather. You're not controlling the weather anywhere.
Man, that comes with age, though. I look at weather reports more now than I ever have. It's something about my early 30s. I go to Golf Channel and I hit up the weather. It's what I do.
Well, my wife is addicted to the Weather Channel, and I call her old all the time.
Well, the Weather Channel's fear and consumption. You don't want to do that.
Of course it is.
But I look at the models. Like, for example, we got the tropical storm that might be rolling through this weekend into Monday. And
you're going to look. I mean,
the cone of uncertainties from Alabama all the way up to through Central Florida. But I'm looking at the models every 5 hours because I'm getting old and I'm interested in those things.
I'm the opposite. In Florida in the summer, it is hot as hell every day. Florida in the summer, it is humid. Ungodly so. We have been forsaken every day. And at some point in Florida in the summer, in particular in Tallahassee, it's going to pour. Blinding rain, if only for 2 minutes. It's going to happen. That's it. That's all. You don't need to know a thing else. It's every single day. Don't even bother with the nonsense. Just go out about your life.
So you don't take pride in looking at the heat index and saying, I was outside and it was 108 today in the heat index.
I don't look at any of it.
That's a point of pride here.
I don't look at any of it. And I also stopped long ago, whether it's, and listen, I'll just say this. People get so nervous. They want you to tread lightly if you dare reveal any political leaning. This isn't a political leaning. Let me tell you something. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch any of the non-news news stations, whether they're far left or far right. I don't watch either one at all, ever, because it's stupid. It's nonsense.
But you listen to town hall news at the top of the hour.
I don't do any of that. I have my places where I go and I get it and I decipher it for myself and I read it and I think about it a little bit, kick it around and go about my day. I'm not going to sit here and listen to two talking heads in boxes scream at each other about nonsense. So I don't do it. None of that stuff. But that is the fear and consumption of which you speak. And my wife does this with the Weather Channel. I'm like, they're going to tell you that we're about to die, but that's not true.
So I saw yesterday a graphic retweeted into my timeline with the cone of uncertainty from the Weather Channel.
Yeah, it's from here to Alaska.
Well, yeah, it is, but it's also all red.
Oh, yeah. Of course, it's bright red.
Yes, they chose red, death red.
No, it can't be mauve or something like that.
It has to be death red.
Yeah. Oh, my God, we're dead.
Like Kane's mask at Survivor Series.
You ever walk by and go, is that even a hurricane? Because when you hear them talking, you're sure it's a Category 5. But when I walk by, if my wife has it on, I go, is that even a hurricane? She'll go, oh, no. I go, oh, no, it's not, is it? Oh, imagine that. If you're not subscribed to warchant.com, do so today. If you're watching us on YouTube TV, thank you very much. Please do us a favor. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. It's awfully kind of you to do it, and I just would ask that you do so if you get a chance. Just click that little subscribe button to Warchant TV. It helps. If you like our videos, it helps spread the word to fellow Seminole fans. That's what it does do. And it benefits us. Not going to lie to you. It benefits us greatly. So I hope that you can do that for us. Thank you very much. And for those of you that are new to the program, welcome aboard. It's great to be here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio. I am excited, very excited, because we are entering into what we would all agree is the best time of year. No matter who you root for, this is where we get to the getting, as I like to say. It's time now, baby. Every day there's something. You sit down right now and you look, if you pull up NFL, and right there in the top corner, all of the games, there they are. Look at them, waiting on you. We got a game tonight, another game tonight, 2 games tonight, right?
That's correct.
I'm very intrigued, I might say, about Washington and New England, and I'm very intrigued about New England, where Mac Jones is making a huge impact. And how could he not? Because Cam Newton was terrible a year ago. It was tough to watch him play football a year ago.
Yeah, apparently the respect has been gained by Mac Jones. I saw Adam Schefter tweet out today that he switched from the number 50 that they gave him to begin camp. Now he's at 10 because he's a true quarterback now. I guess he's paid his dues, which is what Norvell is trying to do out in UNF.
So today, in all seriousness, with what's happening at practice in Jacksonville, apparently the intensity was heightened, and there may have been a few scrapes, as there should be in a football camp, by the way. When you're practicing football and it's 100 degrees, you're angry. I remember this vividly. I'll remember it on my deathbed. It's difficult. You just putting on the pads. I don't care if you love the game or not. You have to love the game at this point. If you're still playing like these kids are at this level, you have to sacrifice so much day to day to do so. So there has to be a real passion and love for the game. It just has to exist. It's very rare. It does exist, but it is very rare that you find anybody playing at this level who aspires to, let's say, go to the pros, who doesn't have a real love for the grind, who doesn't have a real love and a commitment to the sacrifice that it takes as a student athlete, because you've got to get your workout in, you got to do your film study, you got to go out there and take the heat, take the pain that comes with getting hit every day, and then you got to go to class, and you got to buckle up and get those grades, and you got to study at night, and you got to go to bed, and you got to get up at the ass crack of dawn the next morning and do it again. And so there has to be a love and commitment. But that said, it is, without question, extremely annoying the moment you put those shoulder pads on, the moment you put the bottoms on, and you are geared up for war, right? You go out and you're gonna get after it, and you put that helmet on, and it's hot and sticky and humid, and you're just frustrated because now you're running and you're jumping and you're hitting and you're thinking, could I just not be doing this right now? But you have to get past that. But what it leads to invariably is punching. Somebody gets hit. Because it's the little things, Tom. It's the guy at practice that wants to finish every one of the blocks with a little hand to your chin. He's that guy. Because there's always that guy Like, we can't just have this drill with you hitting me hitting you, understanding that we have to do this to make each other better. You want to give me a little what for at the end of every one of these drills, do you? At some point, I'm going to punch you in the neck. This is what's going to happen. And, the guy cut, listen, we're not going to the ground today. I just got hit to the ground today. I have a problem with that. Let's not let that happen again. Bam, happens again. It's on. Here we go. I told you not to do that.
And it's the same player who did it to you. And no other player that's paired off. Nobody else has this issue. Only me and you.
Yeah.
So I have to get paired with you.
So this is what happens. It's you expect it, but if there's a passion and if there is a focus and an intensity requisite of every football practice and every team climbing to try to achieve something of note, then you're going to get these. And coaches sometimes will pretend that it bothers them. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't bother. They want that. They want to see that, as long as somebody's not cheap-shotting somebody or you get into an all-out Donnybrook. You can't have that. I've seen that. You can't have guys like throwing haymakers trying to kill somebody. But, you get in a little tussle like Jackson West did the other day. My man Jackson West got himself into a tussle.
I'm glad you brought him to the Seminole Headlines audience as well on Tuesdays that you can catch right here on Warchant TV and Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you broke out the accent as well for Jackson West.
He got himself into a tussle. The other day.
He made it from one side of town to the other.
Yes, he did.
Frequency different, but Jackson West, all the same.
Jackson West, we'll get into a tussle from time to time. I ain't one not to tussle.
He was known.
Day I step foot on campus, I let it be known I'll tussle. So that's good. That's what we get. You're going to get some tussles from time to time. And he got into one the other day in the indoor practice facility. I thought, that's good. Like it. That's what I want to see. Our tight end room has been garbage for some time now. We need somebody to give him some toughness. And I think between him and what you have with Wilson coming back off the Achilles, you may have a little bit of toughness to you that we haven't had, because Cam McDonald's basically a wide receiver. He's just a big wide receiver. He doesn't block for nothing. So that's kind of what you have there. You need some guys to step up in that room. You need some receivers to step up. On the whole, our options for the quarterback have got to improve. It's an area of grave concern going into the season. But I do think there's hope there, just like I think there's hope at a lot of these position groups where we're monitoring, obviously, the competition, where we're getting after it, where we're watching guys. And that is, so Mike Norvell and staff, when you're going about the process of flipping a program from where we've been, which is sadly very, very near or at the bottom of the Atlantic Division in the ACC, you've got to not only raise the level of talent on your roster by recruiting exceptionally well, and they appear to be in the process of doing that right now, which is something that buoys us all as Florida State fans, but you've also got to create real competition on a daily basis, which ups the level of intensity and gets guys to ratchet up focus, to ratchet up their physicality, to ratchet up the day-to-day operation, because that then produces, obviously, the very best of that bunch who emerge at each position group. And when you don't have great competition because you have a lack of talent or depth of talent, and you don't have great focus or a leader, in this case, Mike Norvell and staff, demanding it of you, well, then you see the lackluster nonsense that we've seen for the last several years. And I do think, and I teased this yesterday when I talked about the quarterbacks at the end of the show, and I said there's a big but. I carried it over to today. How about that? The longest tease ever, a full show-to-show tease.
Run out of time in this segment, too. What are we going to do?
We're going to talk about it next.
Oh!
On the Jeff Cameron Show here on Real Talk 93.3 and Warchant TV. Like and subscribe, kiddos.
The best happy hour in Tallahassee just got happier. Wednesdays at Wahoo Seafood Grill, enjoy half-off appetizers from 3 to 7 p.m. Calamari, boom boom shrimp, gator tails, mudbug fries, and more. All half price from 3 to 7 p.m. every Wednesday. And if you're looking for a fresh lunch to break up the day, Wahoo serves up fresh fish tacos, sandwiches, and po' boys all week long for under $10. Visit Wahoo Seafood Grill today on North Monroe Street. Check out the full menu and order online at wahooseafoodgrill.com.
In 1945, Jack Whitten started a glass company in Tallahassee. Now, over 70 years and 3 generations later, it's still working every day, doing just as Jack wanted, giving his customers real solutions for replacing window glass, providing custom-cut mirrors, and supplying superior bath and shower enclosures. Local building contractors know Whitten Glass takes care of Tallahassee business. They prefer Whitten because of their precision and mastery of eye-catching storefront glass and countertop glass. It's a fact. When you choose Whitten Glass, you're working with real glass people who will take care of you to your complete satisfaction. It's what Jack Whitten wanted, and it's been the Whitten way of doing business for over 70 years. Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass since 1945. Call Whitten Glass today or visit them online, 850-222-5781 or whittenglass.com.
This is an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee. A few months ago, I asked you to contact your legislators to help stop the skyrocketing property insurance rates in Florida. Other states average 2 lawsuits per day on property insurance claims. Florida has 384 per day. The property owners of Florida are being taken advantage of, but it is not by the insurance companies. The companies are paying out 10 times the cost of a claim or more that would have been paid anyway. People are canvassing neighborhoods, knocking on doors, suggesting that the property owner may have some damage. The property owner innocently signs something that turns all control of any claim settlement to an attorney that becomes the person designated to get the claim check and who controls the disbursement of the claim payment. If we want these rates to go down, we must reach out to our legislators and let them know how unaffordable home insurance has become and that we want them to support reform that will fix the issues. This has been an insurance market alert from Barbara at Faircloth Insurance in Tallahassee.
You've heard me wax poetic on Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue's smoky, delicious barbecue. But would you believe that's not the best thing on the menu? Don't get me wrong, it's great, but don't forget the grill. Kenny spent a lifetime perfecting the art of the sandwich. They're the kind of sandwiches people make day trips for. Lucky for you, Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue is right around the corner. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Look for the 3 flagpoles north of Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Get your fill at the grill.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test.
Your home has been a place of great comfort. We can help you keep it that way. Barno Heating and Air is helping you get ready for summer with $1,500 off select new units, 0% financing for qualified buyers, plus worry-free maintenance plans. Learn more or schedule online at BarnoAC.com. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barno Heating and Air today. For license CAC 1816186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Soon. And it's me with headphones.
It's a me.
Oh, man. So I mentioned a moment ago, quarterback play. Let's get back to it for a second. Every day you go to practice. I shouldn't say every day. Almost every practice. I kind of teased this yesterday. Almost every practice you walk away and you go, a couple observations about the quarterback room. Let's start with one that's kind of just a sidebar because it really doesn't affect anything. Maybe not initially, not this year. Maybe it will next year. Maybe it will the year after. And that is Tate Rodemaker, if we're talking total package. We're talking about athleticism, talking about accuracy.
The Rodemaker.
If you're talking about the overall physical attributes and abilities at quarterback, you kind of walk away from every practice anyhow, like when they're not in 11-on-11 and they're not in a spring game, but they're just kind of throwing around 1-on-1s, 7-on-7.
The driving range, so to speak.
My man is Ranger Rick. If you were to go and hit next to him on the range and you thought you were going to have to compete against him, you'd be intimidated because you'd say, man, he makes good contact every single time. That's a good-looking swing right there. That's repeatable. Problem is, of course, we've seen him. We've seen him he was in an unfair situation. He got out there in those 2 games. He was terrible. I mean, awful. I think he's responsible for the worst interception I've ever seen in the history of college football. And, I mean, that interception, that pick 6, that was something. I mean, he's staring right at the dude. It was crazy.
Trying to think of a better one, but it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough. But anyhow, it was terrible. That might be a little bit of a hyperbole on my part, but it wasn't pretty. But again, he was in a tough situation. I'm not going to judge the kid for that. That's a sidebar. I'm just noting that. But he was terrible in the spring game. And they were furious with him in the spring game. He wouldn't throw the ball. He wouldn't get rid of the ball.
How would you know that? How would you know that they were furious?
Well, it was something, man. I was on the headset, and I heard every word that our offensive coordinator had to say.
Well, and the thing is, that's not any news because the Norvell face, when he looked at Rodemaker during the spring game, that was caught on TV for all to see. So everybody saw the fury. That's not inside knowledge. You're not breaking any trust there.
No,
they were not pleased.
They were furious. They were furious. He wouldn't throw the ball. He was frozen. Get rid of it. It's there. Throw the damn ball. He wouldn't. That was the nice language that I used. Hearing them was something special. Not for the squeamish. Anyhow, I hope that he gets past that. I hope that he develops and does pull the trigger when his time is called, if it ever happens, because I think he's got real skill. I think he's got a skill set that we could use down the line. Who knows? Obviously, with Duffy coming in, we may never see Rodemaker play quarterback here. For that matter, we may never see Chubba Purdy play quarterback here. I don't know. But I do think it'll be at least a real competition because the skills are there, and that'll help us long term. Obviously, he's not starting this year. So the 2 quarterbacks, Mackenzie Milton and Jordan Travis, the only 2 that are really competing for the job. If you just go by practice, if you go day to day by practice, listen, there's no way you would walk away up to this point. And obviously I wasn't there in Jacksonville today, so I don't know.
Right.
But Jordan Travis typically has the better practices. He typically has the better practices, and a lot of times it's not close. But we've learned from where he was at UCF, if you talk to coaches and players over there, and I have, and if you were at the spring game, then you know he's a different guy when the lights turn on. And some players are like that. Some guys just aren't really good practice players. They have a hard time ratcheting up the necessary focus. Now, that's not a big deal per se if you know they can do it in a game and they've done it in a game and you know that's who they are. They'll turn it on when the game happens. But it is difficult when it's a quarterback as opposed to a right guard because the guy has the ball in his hand all the time. He's running your drills, your offense. But also he is, by definition, as a quarterback, the leader of your football team. He has to be. Quarterbacks have to be great leaders. Invariably, they are. There's a certain alpha to all quarterbacks that they wanted to be a quarterback to begin with. Most of them have been most of their lives. And they take control of teams. And if you don't have a good leader at quarterback, see DeAndre Francois, then you got real problems. That guy has to make good decisions. That guy has to be the leader of your team day to day, game to game, week to week, month to month, year to year. So why do I bring all that up? Well, it's weird to me because I think deep down, and we'll see, I could be wrong. This is my opinion, but I think deep down, they probably believe that Mackenzie Milton is their guy this year, okay? But you have to tell your team when you choose the quarterback that, you chose him because you thought he was the best in a so-called competition. Well, there's a good chance he wasn't. There's a good chance he was not day-to-day the best on that practice field. And you have to hope then that the players don't look at that and go, hey, does practice not mean anything?
This is something that Ira and I talked about in a video on Warchant TV a couple weeks ago. How much would Jordan Travis have to beat Mackenzie Milton by to win the job? Because if it's close, you're going to go with the grad transfer who has the bona fides in college football.
Who's put up huge numbers in big games against Power 5 teams.
Exactly right. Like, you have to do that. So how much would Jordan Travis need to beat him by? But then there's one other thing. They're on Saturdays. We can't see them. Actually, one's on a Saturday, one's on a Sunday. It's the only thing that they won't let us into as media. Scrimmages. That's another thing. That's if you're weighting the grade for fall camp, kind of like it was a semester in college or high school, right? And exams count for something and projects count for something. The weighting on the scrimmage would count for a lot more, right, than, say, a single practice. It'd probably be 3 or 4 practices worth if you're trying to determine who won a job.
Yeah,
like if McKenzie
that's
outperforms
correct.
Jordan in a scrimmage, you would have to weight that much heavier than, well, Tuesdays seem to go to Travis every week, right?
Yeah, you would. Look, I'm just going to tell you, I think barring a disastrous turn of events in camp, Mackenzie Milton is going to start the season as the number 1. That's what I believe. Nobody's told me that. Norvell has certainly not indicated that. That's what I believe. I think he'll be the guy.
Disastrous or wondrous? Because
well, right.
If
Jordan Travis
continues
takes
to come,
massive leap,
pounds.
yeah, yes, it would be shocking to see that kind of progression. Jordan Travis has progressed. Don't get me wrong. He doesn't need, I don't mean this condescendingly, and he doesn't need my approval. But what I would tell you, I'm proud of that kid, man. He has stayed in the fight. He has worked. He has to see the writing on the wall for this year. Come on now.
He's gone to a different stratosphere in your mind, though, right? Last year you thought no way, no how, but now he's at least gotten to a place where you got to earn it to beat him for a job, right?
I need
rather
him,
than just show up.
Yeah, and I think that bodes really well for the year after this one. It really does bode well for that quarterback room and for this program as a whole. And I really respect him. And not that I didn't before, but I think it's hard when you probably in the back of your mind kind of know that Mackenzie Milton didn't come here to sit, and they didn't bring him in here to sit. Okay. So they brought him in because they thought they needed to bring somebody in, because if you're Jordan Travis, you got to think I wasn't good enough. I would argue, and you certainly could, and maybe he thinks about it this way, he just wasn't healthy enough. He's never healthy. But I also don't think he's a terribly effective passer from the pocket, on time, in rhythm, thrower of the football into tight windows. That's not who he is. He's a playmaker, an unbelievable one, but he is improving greatly as a passer. He really is. He's throwing a much better ball more consistently. That's good news long-term. Off the cap to Jordan Travis. I think it's very impressive what he's doing right now.
That's an important note, because for the audience that came with us from one place to the next, that's a development in your mind. Maybe some of us in the media, other than you, have left a door open for the possibility. Your door was not ajar. It was maybe just a crack open. But now it seems like the door is open for the possibility that Jordan Travis could develop into a player that we like, not just as a gadget, but maybe in a year or two as a solution at the position.
For him to work, he's got to be a better passer in obvious passing downs. For him to work and be your guy on 3rd and 7, I need to know that he can beat somebody. He can beat a defense with his arm, not his legs. That's great. We know he can do that. I need you to be able to throw the ball into a relatively tight window when opposing defenses know you're going to be throwing the ball. Not broken plays, scramble around, throw it downfield, but 1, 2, 3, get the ball out right now. It's sudden, it's accurate, first down, keep the chains moving, let's go. Woo! All right.
Have a little donation from our friend
Eric Angel doing the right thing.
It's a welcome one.
Thank you.
He's just saying hi, and he says that he watches Golf Channel and Weather Channel all the damn time too. 23 days till kickoff. Thanks, Eric.
Do appreciate that immensely. So I just, for me, I think some good things are going on in that room. It's an interesting dilemma, if you want to call it a dilemma, where a coach has to pick a kid who routinely gets outplayed in practice. But football people know, and the guys on the chat are right, Jameis wasn't a very good practice player. And Jimbo would talk about that all the time. And then obviously we know what he did when the lights came on. He was having none of it.
That's how the story went with Coker, right? That particular season.
He said that.
Well, he agonized over it, he said. Those were his words
Those
behind
are
the
his
scenes.
words. I don't know that that's accurate.
But he said that off the record. That doesn't do anybody good. If he said that publicly that he agonized, you could say that's probably false. But
well, if we're going to do the thing where, and this is
not that caliber of a battle, by the way. Let's put that out there too.
I want to say this. This is the weirdest part of that relationship that I had with Coach Fisher. Off the record comments were also equally puzzling at times for a guy who, without question, is one of the best at assessing talent down the line. So Jimbo could go to a high school tomorrow. He was the best I've ever seen at doing this. and look at a sophomore, even though he was there to look at a senior, and he could watch a practice and he could turn to you and say, that's the most talented kid they have at the position. He's not starting because he's a sophomore, but he's going to be the best of the bunch, and here's why. And boom, 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 boom. And he would talk about everything from body type, the available muscle mass to be put on, quick feet, jump step, whatever it might be if we're talking running backs, right? He would do that. And yet, if not for an injury, Dalvin Cook was a backup, according to Jimbo. Without the injury against Syracuse, we don't see Dalvin Cook the starter, which is crazy. How is that even possible?
They love them some Mario Pender,
but
man.
What is he looking at? What is he? I mean, Dalvin Cook is one of the best to ever do it.
What is he doing?
I couldn't believe it. I still can't. Bucs play this week, and that game may get moved up. Look around NFL camps momentarily. Quarterbacks on the mind today because there's some young ones making an impact right off the bat. And dare I say, we may see several rookies start when they weren't slated to. I'm kind of excited about this. I think there's a chance in Chicago, even though they've said they're committed to the Red Rocket. I'm not so sure about that right now. I know coaches like to buy themselves time. That's something to think about. And then, as we mentioned and alluded to, Mac Jones is apparently impressive. There is a guy that's not impressing right now. I'll talk about him as well. That's next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Leon County has announced that an Amazon fulfillment center is coming to Tallahassee. The county says the 630,000 square foot fulfillment center is expected to open in 2022. Jobs at the fulfillment center will have a minimum wage of $15 an hour, along with industry-leading benefits such as healthcare, 401k retirement savings, and career skills training programs. The FSU Center for Economic Forecasting and Analysis says the project could create a total of 3,600 new jobs. Officers across the Big Bend area are reminding drivers to keep their eyes on the road. It is illegal for drivers in Florida to hold and use a cell phone in a school zone. This includes speaking on your phone, even using hands-free technology. The law is intended to protect students, especially as children go back to school this year. Drivers caught using a cell phone in a school zone will lose 3 points on their driver's license and pay hundreds of dollars in fines. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 94. North winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tonight. Lows level off around 76. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Highs around 94. Mainly sunny skies and calm. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Greg Tish, Real Talk 93.3.
Friday morning on the Greg Tish Show with me, Greg Tish, and him, Matty Rowe. We welcome in John Reed and
Terry Madigan.
And we also welcome in
Jay Revel.
As we're going to talk a little Tallahassee history. I'm going to teach you a little bit about Bull Heatley tomorrow, Matty Rowe.
Do tell.
I will tomorrow at 8:30. But the show starts at 6 a.m. right here on Tallahassee's locally owned radio station, Real Talk 93.3.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Kent Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
On our videos, as I said earlier, help spread the word. And I would note that if you hit the bell after subscribing to be notified anytime we go live or offer up more of our great content, all from warchant.com, you'll be better off for it. Your life will be better. We've got football. I mentioned a moment ago, stuff that's happening around the NFL. And I think it's cool anytime the younger quarterbacks begin to get some play. I don't know where you stand on this, Tom. The modern assessment of quarterbacks and the way this works. Let me give you two things here. It's crazy. It's so different, and I could do this a lot because I'm now officially old. But I will tell you, it's done a 180 from when I was a kid watching football. Your team drafts a player at quarterback. Everybody gets excited and knows that in 2 to 3 years they'll see him. That's kind of how that was. Like maybe in a couple of years you'll see this guy, with very few exceptions. Most of the time you were going to wait. You're going to wait and let him develop. They were going to be behind a veteran. Usually that veteran was established, and you kind of thought, oh, okay, well, I guess Danny White will be sitting behind Roger Staubach for the next 6 years before we see him. That's the way that's going to work. Right?
But it was a reason to stick around for a preseason game, second half of it, or a blowout. Either way.
Right.
Either way.
Yeah. Also, starting quarterbacks around the league weren't so delicate. Their sensibilities weren't easily offended or breached. They could handle if they were having a bad day or the team was getting blown out, getting pulled, and it was not, a besmirching of their overall talents or what was going to happen moving forward. It was just, hey, have a seat. We're down 30 in the third quarter. We ain't coming back. Let's get Johnny in here and see what he can do. But a lot of quarterbacks now, if you do that, they're furious. They're offended. Everybody's offended so easily. So how that works.
Agree. That happened then too. I mean, Montana didn't want to help Young, and Favre didn't want to help any of the five predecessors.
But what I would say is, if you're Joe Montana and you see Steve Young, Steve Young, who goes on to be a Hall of Famer, I might add, has real ability. Dude can play, as opposed to Jordan Love or something like that. We got a guy.
Yeah, if you're Montana, you're thinking Steve Young will be faster than me now when he's 60. He'll still be faster than me.
So, really quick, though, what's different is now, I feel like, and it's not blanketly true, it's not unilaterally true, but I'll tell you something, Tom. Now, if you draft a quarterback and my man doesn't get talked about in any positive way, shape, or form, he's just largely ignored. Like, he's here, he's there. The way Green Bay ignored Jordan Love last year. Now, you're not going to bench Aaron Rodgers for Jordan Love. My point is, you didn't even know Jordan Love was on the team. You couldn't find him. Like, you never saw him standing around in a uniform. Now, I've said that a lot. I'm not bringing that up to pick on him again, because you're going to see him now. He's going to play in this preseason game. He's going to start for the Packers.
I was going to say, even last year, if you talked to Jordan Love too much, if you were the Packers coaching staff, Aaron might have gotten ruffled.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I hurt his feelings a little bit.
Too much talking to Jordan. More talk to me.
Yeah.
Now shut up.
Less talky. But so as an aside, though, I bring this up because you're already hearing about each of the young quarterbacks. And as of yesterday, now it turned around today, but as of yesterday, the Jets weren't real impressed with Zach Wilson. Now, his answering of the questions about that, 100% spot on. Thank you very much for saying that. It's ridiculous. I know it's the New York media, but they're asking him about the interceptions in practice. And he said, well, I'm taking risks in practice that I wouldn't take in the game, because that's the time to take the risk to find out what you can get away with in this league. I've never played here before. I'll take a chance on a 50-50 ball to see, A, if my receiver can make that play, B, just how quick are these corners and safeties on closing. I got to find that out. I'm a rookie. So I'll throw that interception. Duly noted, he can get there. Got it. Good job. That's the answer. That's the right answer. That'll shut people up.
Our guy Jameis is still testing linebackers. Still testing to see how fast they are.
In particular, to his left side.
That's correct.
For whatever reason, to his left side, he really wants to be sure that they can get there, because they can. He needs another 30. I guess they still can get there.
In an obvious passing down, if we could go out to a live wagering place, right, and you're watching the Saints game this year, you might want to hit linebacker interception if there's a prop for that at like plus 5,000. Just keep hitting it. It's eventually going to pay off.
So I bring all this up to tell you that, of course, the Bears declined Mitchell Trubisky's fifth-year option, even though they drafted him number 2 in 2017. Can you believe that was 2017?
No,
that fast.
I remember sitting next to you for that draft because they traded up one spot and gave up a ton to do it.
To get Trubisky, and they'll never live it down. Anyhow, I say this to say that, or I say that to say this, more appropriately. He is, of course, with the Bills as a backup. Now, he's just going to collect some checks. Good life for him, right? Quote, at first, I wanted to go to a spot where I would get the opportunity to compete for a starting position. Yes, I'm sure you did. But the right situation didn't come up. The opportunity wasn't there. Yes, that's correct. Nobody brought you in to try to win the job. They didn't want you for that. That's why the opportunity didn't present itself. It wasn't like happenstance. Nobody thinks of you as a starting quarterback. They just wanted a backup. So you had to dash those dreams immediately, my man. So I looked at the next best thing where I could continue to develop and progress to become a better player in person. And I fell into this organization, and I loved it ever since I came to Buffalo. It's nice to be part of a team and be somewhere where people want you. And get the hell out of here with this cry me a river nonsense. This is a business. This is the way it works, my man. You get drafted at number 2. You come in, high expectations by definition as the number 2 pick in the draft. You stink, and they move on. That's how this all works.
You were wanted. They traded for you.
Yeah,
That's the definition of wanted.
They didn't say, I guess Johnny just trade up and take him at 2. Some thought went into this. They actually decided that you were their guy.
We don't want him, but we're going to trade up to get him at 2. And San Francisco is going to walk away with a king's ransom for one spot of a change.
Yeah, it was funny to hear that quote. And all I'm saying is you had 4 years. You weren't good.
They wanted you for 3, maybe 2.5.
Anymore, my point would be that these young guys, and we're hearing about them again, they come in, and if they're going to be good, I'm not saying they're just because you hear nice things about somebody in camp that they're guaranteed to go on to have a 10-year career as a starter in the NFL. But I am saying this these days. If you're not hearing some positive buzz about a player picking up the scheme pretty quickly, making some nice throws, getting along with teammates, having some good reps, maybe even a scrimmage or 2, if you're not hearing that in year 1, it's time to get a little nervous. Just a little nervous is all I'm saying. Because anymore, listen to what they're saying in Chicago right now about Justin Fields. They can't stop talking about him every day. The players are talking about him, not the coaches.
Yeah, that's important.
The players are talking about him.
Yeah.
The players are talking about Mac Jones in New England. Now, it might be because he can throw a forward pass. I mean, obviously, last year you had a guy who's playing. Listen, Cam's hurt. He's dinged up. He hasn't been right in 3 years. But the point is, he's not the guy we once saw win an MVP. He's a guy that's a shell of himself. Matt comes in there, throws the ball down the field, anticipatory throws, and runs that offense from the pocket, and they go, oh, because they're not seeing it every day.
It can look like this?
Yeah. But anyhow, the point would be a lot of buzz on him as well. Obviously, they love Trevor in Jacksonville. They're talking about him every day, and he's going to start from day 1. But you're not hearing things about Zach Wilson, and that makes me nervous if you're a Jets fan.
So here's what I'd ask you then. Most pressure on any of the quarterbacks. Is it the rookies class, any of the rookies you want, who has more pressure on them? Those guys or Tua in Miami?
Tua, by far, because we saw enough of Tua last year to make you want Fitzpatrick to start every game.
Yeah, even by week 16, you're saying, wrong guy's in.
Yeah, well,
go get Fitz.
Yeah, we're trying to win. We're trying to go to the playoffs here, my man. Keep Fitz out there. And I dare say, Fitz has turned into a middle-of-the-road quarterback in the league. That's what he is. He's a middle-of-the-road quarterback. He had a great year last year, but he's a middle-of-the-road, beloved quarterback by all his teammates everywhere he's ever been. But he's not a great player. He's just a middle-of-the-road quarterback in the NFL.
Who can get hot, and now he's got an elite defense.
Oh, no. That Washington did the right thing. They did the right thing. Yeah, they're pretty good. But, look, Fitzpatrick is not – he ain't winning the Super Bowl, my friend. But the point would be this. When you're not hearing about the rookie, or in this case, Tua's situation had Miami fans a year ago longing for Fitzpatrick, then you get nervous. So he's under a lot of pressure because they've given him weapons. He's got weapons. He better play decent this year. He can't be. Go look at those check down numbers. My man refused to go down the field. Now that was a tough situation. COVID year again and learning the offense and different. Yeah, I got it.
It's nearly impossible.
Let's find out what happens. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm telling you, Miami fans are nervous.
I agree. They should be because they have more evidence to consider at the professional level. But still, when you consider the self-loathing of the Jets market, Sam Darnold just flamed out there for injury purposes or whatever. Adam Gase, you name it. You name the reason. Still, they drafted him in the first round. It didn't work out. And then you've got the Chicago market that's been yearning for a quarterback for generations.
Hey.
So they come with all of their own unique pressures. I agree that Tua has the most, but I think Fields is even feeling it.
No.
It's a honeymoon period, but Chicago as a market, they've been begging for a quarterback since most of these fans have been born.
Oh, well, yes.
Every single one of them. They could be 80 years old or 20 years old. They want a quarterback.
Yeah. They have McMahon was their last good quarterback. I mean, that's
was he?
Well, I mean, that team.
You saw him.
I watched. But. Yeah, he was decent. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. I mean, right? Like, listen, if you're back then, though, it was different. If you had a dominant defense and you had one of the greatest running backs to ever play, I mean, play to your defense, run the football, and then throw off a play action and don't screw it up. So he did that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're doing your job. Man, Fields is so dynamic. They see a guy running around and he's athletic. They're like, oh, what is this? Clutch my pearls. We got a guy that can move a little bit. I know Mitchell Trubisky could move, but the other parts of the game left him befuddled. That's a toughie. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Every now and then, you find a true hidden gem in a sea of ordinary, like Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping, a family-owned landscaping company on Meridian Road. It's more than a nursery. Full landscape designs, tree trimming and tree removal, sod, pavers and patios, drainage, land clearing, outdoor lighting, and water features. The list goes on and on. Shop local at Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping. You'll leave feeling blessed with an extended family you never knew you needed. Visit Carrie's Nursery and Landscaping off Meridian Road, just north of Ox Bottom.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
If you're an attorney who struggles with the balance of managing your practice and practicing law, consider Lexicon as your #1 pick. From client intake to billing and all that comes in between, Lexicon doesn't miss a thing. Our comprehensive solution combines best-in-class software and services to take care of your firm's most critical challenges, automating many of the tasks that take time out of your day. It's all about giving you more of your billable hours back. And who doesn't love more revenue? No more searching for practice management that works. Lexicon marks the spot. Visit lexiconservices.com to learn what Lexicon can do for you.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
it's really not, but somewhat a reason to find light, a glimmer of hope, due to, in some cases, the pandemic. How about that, Tom? Bet you didn't think you'd hear me say that.
The pandemic can provide hope.
Yeah, here's your sports viewing experience has benefited. Lots of things have. I mean, we technology helped turn the corner. Things got ratcheted up, and folks had to acclimate, obviously, because of the pandemic. And we're not going back. I don't know if you read in the Tampa Times the article about, the Rays were kind of at the forefront with this. They estimated that going cashless, that's one of the things that has happened. People now pretty much anywhere you go, you're cashless because they want to lessen, items touched and transactions in that way. So they went cashless and it cut transaction times in half. You're saving time. And the University of Florida moving towards mobile only tickets. Now they've got they did it because it reduces fraud and it increases efficiency. So they're doing that all around the country. That's happening now. The plans are for that to be here too at some point. I know that as well. Just get rid of the tickets, the handheld tickets. Now people will miss holding on to ticket stubs near and dear to their heart, just like I miss going out to my driveway and picking up the newspaper. I dearly miss newspapers. I absolutely do. I mean, I know you can still get them, but they're a shell of themselves. And
Indeed, they are.
I miss going out there with my coffee in my robe and grabbing my newspaper, mosey on back in, sit down on the couch or at the coffee table and read my paper. I'm going to do it again. Just like vinyl's made a return, I'm going to do this with newspapers. But also, I would note that these digital tickets are easy to exchange and the efficiency rate continues to be great. They cut down on the lines. This is all happening. That's something that came from COVID. Now, the one downside is, and I really do realize this, we are effectively tracked all over every venue, everything we do, because digitally they're monitoring you. And if a team knows your purchase history, they'll send you promotions, for example, to let you know, hey, look at your phone. We got half off that pretzel you love so much right now.
They got me.
They got you.
I'm in.
That's why I use the example.
I am in.
They got you.
A good stadium pretzel.
Forget about it.
Oh.
You're a pretzel dude anyhow.
I am a pretzel.
Every time we
Jesse.
go to Bumpus, you grab
That's
a
right.
big ass pretzel.
The giant pretzel.
It's huge.
Yep. Then the Uncle Sal. That's a 1-2 combo from the heavens. You can always judge a place too by their pretzel bites. Some places like lather it with butter, and that's no good. You gotta take some pride in your pretzels.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. Your love of pretzels, that's fine. They're okay. They're just an add-on to me.
Oh,
I don't view them as a delicacy. You look at a pretzel like this is okay.
Do you have a go-to appetizer?
Anything shrimp related.
Okay.
Well, also anything with cheese. Now you don't,
right. Yeah.
If you just you could smother cardboard with cheese, and I'd be like, that's pretty good. That's not bad actually.
Tonight at Pizza Hut.
So I will give you that. I will tell you that on the whole, cheese. Well, I think most people feel this way. I know you're a little unique in your taste, but
a little.
I mean, butter and cheese. If you have something with butter, something with cheese, you're gonna be all right. Hour number 2 is forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Like and subscribe. We'll be back with you in a moment.
You'll hear it first on Real Talk 93.3 WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Biden calling on Congress to pass a number of long-stalled reforms that include allowing direct price negotiation within Medicare and capping out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors. The president says drug costs today are staggering.
Right now, right here in America, we pay the highest prescription drug cost of any developed nation in the world. Let me say that again. Of any developed nation in the world. About 2 to 3 times what other countries pay.
His platform ends months of speculation about how aggressively the administration would pursue major pharmaceutical industry reforms, even as it works closely with drug makers to manufacture and distribute COVID-19 vaccines. Also at townhall.com, millions of Americans continue sweating through a dangerous heat wave.
The National Weather Service warns that temperatures will feel as high as 115 degrees in some places as a miserable heat wave continues baking much of the nation. It says daily record highs will likely be smashed in the Northeast and the Pacific Northwest. And that's not all. Those in the Northeast all the way to the Mississippi Valley may see strong to severe storms. And Tropical Depression Fred is expected to reach the Florida Straits by the weekend. I'm Rita Foley.
And heavy rains are bringing flooding to parts of Michigan, shutting down some freeways in the Detroit area. Parts of Interstates 94 and 696 were closed earlier today. The Taliban have captured Afghanistan's third largest city, Herat, a strategic provincial capital near Kabul. The insurgents have now taken 11 of Afghanistan's 34 provincial capitals as part of their week-long blitz. On Wall Street, stocks remain mixed. The Dow down 56 points, but the NASDAQ is ahead 19. More at townhall.com.
Let's be boring and do a commercial about cash-out refinances. It's Ryan, and our mortgage team will often have a listener say, I think I understand what a cash-out refinance is, but can't that be bad for you sometimes? So let's hit on that. As with anything, it's certainly not the right move for everyone. If we don't have to, we don't want to add a bunch of years onto our loan or increase our monthly payment too much or pay more in the long run. But because home values have skyrocketed so far up the last few years, while rates have come so far down, we've seen many scenarios where listeners today can pull out a significant chunk of money from the new value in their home while lowering the years on the overall loan, while lowering their monthly payment and lowering how much they ultimately pay. The key is to just look at the whole picture and be honest with yourself about your situation. If you're looking for someone to show you your options, we are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota.
Hey Tallahassee, this is Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. There's so much more to auto glass than most people know. It's part of the car's structural integrity and one of the few things keeping you in the car in the event of a collision, which is why it's so important who you use. The big insurance company is going to gripe and complain anyway. Don't let them tell you where to go. Go with who you know. Seminole Auto Glass has over 25 years experience. We use the highest quality products from start to finish because we know the importance of what we do. Experience the Seminole difference. We are more than just a glass company. We are your local auto glass experts. Better call Seminole.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. Get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription just by entering the promo code Warchant30. That's Warchant30. Get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code Warchant30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here with you, day 4 of FSU preseason football, first full slate of NFL preseason football, continued pennant races in Major League Baseball, just about everything I can get down with, even a nothing golf tournament right now. But I will tell you, I can't get down with the Summer League and the NBA. I can't do it. I can't, so soon after the finals, I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I did see the photo of all the Noles that are
I
together
loved
in
it.
Vegas.
How
Wasn't that
great is
cool?
that? Yeah.
I'm glad that they care to do that because that's not put on. That's them finding each other and making the choice to make sure that they brand the program, hashtag New Bloods, all that stuff. That's good, man. That's when you know the culture is healthy.
Oh, that's a culture worth emulating, whether you're a sporting outfit or you're a radio station or, an insurance company. That's what you want. Coach Ham and his staff have done amazing things in the last 8 years. It's really remarkable. I think of the things that I've had the good fortune of covering in this field and working in sports, that one of the more surprising things that has happened is that a guy who was this far along in his career, who's had success and made a lot of money, could change with the times this radically to alter a non-traditional program basketball-wise. It's not a blue blood or anything like that, and turn it into a destination for elite-level recruits at that stage in his career, completely flipping his identity in terms of what they were on the court. They go from junkyard dog defense, plotting, we got to beat you 57-50 or something like that, to a team that now can do it any way you want to do it. And it has enticed the best players around the country to take a good long look at Florida State, above and beyond a lot of other schools that have 4 and 5 and 6 national championships to their name hanging in the rafters. It's remarkable.
And to hear them talk about it now in retrospect, they say, well, we just needed to get better players. That's all. We just wanted to get some better players, some more skill in here. And it's not that easy. It's just not that simple because you have to find the right types of players that fit in with the projects that Florida State brought in and hit on. I mean, Trent Forrest wasn't able to shoot. That's why he didn't go to a place like Kentucky or Duke. Everything else about his game was awesome, but he couldn't shoot the basketball. The jump shot held him back. That's why he came here. Good choice. Fiondu Kabengele was a guard who grew into a forward's body, but you have to piece those guys together with the right kind of one-and-dones in order to get the culture that they got, and they did it. They hit the home run. And you're right. I mean, you could think about it. Almost every opponent in the ACC, you can think of at least one, if not 2 or 3 games where the atmosphere in that building was absolutely electric. And that's so cool. It used to be that there were 1 or 2 total that you could think of from about, 1995 on. And now you've got a dozen, 20 type games that you can think of.
Yeah, and you get 2 to 3 a year.
Right.
Every year.
Where your ears are ringing as you walk out. It's just awesome.
Well, it's to the point where Billis and others, analysts, come in here to call a game, and one of the first things they bring up in the post-game wrap is the atmosphere, that this is a really tough place to play. I didn't think that I would ever hear that be a talking point from a national basketball analyst in my lifetime. I didn't think it would be that. I mean, listen, I remember being at the TLC back in 92 and 93 and going to games, and, that was a really good 3-year run for Florida State where they were very good. They had NBA players, and, you had these moments against the Carolinas of the world where the atmosphere was unreal, but it didn't feel sustainable, obviously, but alas, it was not. And then we went through really brutal stretches where there was nothing that you could glean from going to a home basketball game in the way of hope.
The red zone.
No, that hurt. Yeah, it was a toughie.
That was Millar's era. Millar lived through that.
That's a toughie. But the point would be, at that point, you're bereft of hope. And the next thing you know, this place is what it is now. So, that is, I guess, as an aside, I didn't bring any of this up to talk FSU basketball since it's not the right season to do so, but thanks for going there when I brought up how boring the summer league is.
That's right. I tried to find the positive in
You
things.
did. Bucs preseason opener against the Bengals. By the way, we have the Bucs here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio. I don't know if you guys realize that, but, I got a little bit of an influence, Tom. You've been privy to that over the years.
Oh, yeah. That's what you do.
You've seen it.
It's your influence.
I try not to bully people into doing things that I want, and all that. But every now and then I gotta push a little bit. And so, when they found out I was leaving at the other station, the Bucs were like, well, what do we do? What do we do? Nobody's going to listen to that other station anymore. What do we do? We got to follow Cameron. We got to go with him. They reached out to Tom.
That's right.
Tom said, I can make it happen. Tom reached out to John. John made it happen. The Bucs were all too eager to give us money and race over here. And with that, I can announce that the Scuttlebucks will be back. You like how I did that?
They raced into the south end zone in the Super Bowl. The Scuttlebucks will be back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're doing the Scuttlebucks.
All right.
Yeah, very excited.
Hey, that answers somebody's question that was in the chat the other day.
I didn't get to it yesterday, but I was mindful. I said, okay, well, we'll get there. I'll circle back on you, buddy.
That's true. I did text with Lee DeKemper today. So
it's happening.
There we go.
Yeah. It's the sphere of influence. Look what I'm talking about, buddy. That's all I'm saying. The tropical depression, Fred. I love that it's named Fred.
Hey, Fred.
Fred could force an earlier kickoff time. They may have to move the kickoff up, according to Bruce Arians, after the practice today. No word as of right now. It won't change until we know for sure what that depression is looking like on Saturday.
And for our purposes here, it looks like if it's going to arrive here and if it's going to be of substance when it does, big ifs, we still don't know that yet, but it would be late Sunday night into Monday morning. So Florida State currently has Sunday off for fall camp. I don't know if they would also in turn say, all right, we've got a scrimmage on Saturday, but let's move up an event on Sunday when we would.
Well, what are they doing in terms of as it relates to Coach Bowden's funeral?
So as I understand
it, I mean, I know the timing. I'm just wondering about, I guess, practice. I would think that obviously you have to maneuver around that.
Correct. They wanted to originally be in Jacksonville through
the weekend,
at least Saturday, and probably come back Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, again, this is as I understand it. I don't think any plans have changed. They'll be back here tomorrow, and they'll be scrimmaging on Saturday night. We have an availability with the coaches at 9 p.m. on Saturday night. There's a Zoom availability for them to go over the scrimmage.
Damn Skippy, yeah.
That would make sense that they would do the scrimmage in the evening if the availability is at 9 p.m.
You know, I'm incredibly sneaky. I don't know if you know this about me. I'm sneaky.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to find a way to sneak and see that practice, that scrimmage.
Those years I would bring in snacks in a Ziploc bag. They'd be magically emptier when I came back to the studio.
Sneaky.
Those animal crackers. Remember the big tub from Sam's Club?
Like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The mountains of Hispaniola and dry air has severely hindered the storm Wednesday evening. You like that? There you go. Let everybody know the weather. Ultimately weakening it to a tropical depression. But the National Hurricane Center still predicts that Fred could bring heavy rains and gusty winds to Tampa Bay, with the heaviest winds and rain starting Sunday morning. For more, tune in to the Jeff Cameron Show, weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 p.m.
I was going to say, is this sponsored?
93.3 Real Talk Radio.
Could be, I guess.
The real quote from the morning's practice is not about the weather and Fred and rain, but rather this glorious note from the GM of the world champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now housed on 93.3 Real Talk Radio. And it reads, I feel like we have a window here still. I don't know if it's 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years. Okay, Jason Light. Well, we certainly have a window here. We might as well go for it. Win as many as we can. 5-year window. Sweet Jesus.
Fire them cannons!
Tom, we won't know what to do with ourselves. People are already sick of Tampa Bay because
Yeah.
they either win or compete for championships on the regular, whether it's the Lightning winning back-to-back Stanley Cups as they did, whether it's the Rays going to the World Series. Still got to bring one home, but they're there. They're in the conversation yearly these days. And then in addition, of course, the Bucs are your reigning Super Bowl champions, figure to be the odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl again this year. So there you go.
I cheated us too. I said yesterday 3 championships in 18 months. It's been 11 months since the first championship, the Stanley Cup of 2020.
Cheatness.
That's my fault.
Gotta do this here.
We work faster than that.
Hector writes in on the chat here on Warchant TV. Like and subscribe and tell every single person you see.
There you go.
He says, if we really do start putting traction into the winning of games, I think we should get Chubba and Tate in the games as early as possible. Keep the tape light if we can. What a wonderful Hector. Good on you, buddy. Let me just say the reason I like that comment. It is so optimistic. It is so wonderfully optimistic that we could be at a place where if we are just steady winning football games, we have the option to just tinker with the backup quarterbacks, the third and fourth string quarterbacks, so we can be like, let's get him some time. Let's get him some time. Well, we're beating that ass so bad today, guys. Let's let everybody play. We're all going to play out here today. It's 56-7. Let's do this. You remember, guys, at one time that was a thing. It existed. We're over here playing hangman on the sidelines during games.
NC State, right?
Blatantly disrespecting opponents. Bored to tears because it was over before it started.
35-0 first quarter. I remember that one.
An overwhelming, just a devastating, crushing defeat for NC State that afternoon that you're 10 minutes into the game and they're like, well, that's it. That's all. Thanks for playing. But, yeah, you're thinking of the example I gave with the guy that drove down. That's it, Mary. Get the keys.
That's right.
We're out.
Yeah, it's 4 possessions in. 4 possessions.
I'm done.
It didn't need to get to 35.
Hot as hell out here. Taking this kind of a beating. Let's go.
9 hours.
We
drove 9 hours for this.
That air conditioning's going to feel good. I'm not watching this nonsense.
And I know a certain person, I'm not going to name who might have joined another person, not going to name who, at a pizza eatery around the corner from the stadium.
Yeah.
By the time it got to 35-0.
Yeah.
Watch the game there.
Seen enough.
If they're playing hangman on the sidelines.
Kind of knew what was going to happen.
Taking on down the road.
Yeah.
Could get a pint.
That was. I enjoyed a pint with you that day.
I'm not going to say who. I don't know. Maybe that was late. Maybe that was post game.
But there was a time, and a glorious time that it was, that you could watch our beloved Noles, and the question was not in doubt, but rather how far down the depth chart are we going to get today to see some of these youngins? Let's see some of these young Noles out here. What are they going to bring to the party in the next, 2 to 3 years when they get a chance to play? I will say, on a serious note, we talked quarterbacks last hour, and the quarterback room is shaping up. I think you would be safe to guess when A.J. Duffy gets here and this thing begins to shake out, one of these guys that's currently on the roster as a quarterback will not be here in 2 years, right? Or in a year.
One of the younger guys?
One of the
that's
guys,
the way it works in college football
these days, right? Yeah. They're not all going to stick it out and say, okay, especially if he comes in and makes a splash. He's one of the better recruits at the position we've had in an awfully long time. People feel like he's the real deal. He'll come in and make an impact on that room pretty quickly. But if that were to happen at that point, you got to believe if the writing were on the wall. So say Jordan Travis after this year is the starter for a season, right? And then from there, you get to the competition between A.J. Duffy, Tate Rodemaker.
And Jordan Travis, he'd still be here.
Oh, that's right.
That extra COVID year throws everything off. Right?
Yeah, somebody's jetting. There's no chance. I mean, I'm not worried about it. It'll play itself out.
You'll bring in a 2023 kid, too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It'll play itself out. But, yeah, somebody that's there now will not be here.
But it does make it interesting for those two, maybe 3 games. Your week 2 opponent, who I keep forgetting, UMass and Syracuse, right? If you could get to the position. Jacksonville State. Thank you very much. At least it's not the Raging Cajuns, because you told me yesterday they were in the top 25. I mean,
you're going to get
Coastal Carolina.
You're going to get beat by Ooh La La. We're not doing that. They're not called that anymore, but yeah.
But I mean, that's something that we could have scheduled 8 years ago and go, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? This is the year we get the Raging Cajuns. At any rate, though, in those 3 games, if we can get it to a place where you can go down the depth chart, I think you'd still want to stick around and see what Chuba does with the reps that he gets and Tate does with the reps that he gets. That's at least interesting. It won't be that way for more than 2 or 3 games, but
I think
it will be for at least 2 games.
So I want to do this because somebody brought it up on the chat here. Mark writes, this will be Notre Dame's toughest road game of their season. Let's go look at Notre Dame's schedule. Let's do this, okay?
Now, yes, as long as there are no restrictions put on attendance, it's going to be a raucous atmosphere at kickoff. We all agree on that,
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The only other candidate that you might argue would be tougher is Camp Randall. Notre Dame goes on the road to play Wisconsin September the 25th. And I think Wisconsin, by the way, will beat Penn State. I think Wisconsin in the trenches are a problem. They're rarely elite at quarterback. We know that. In fact, their old quarterback is Notre Dame's likely starting quarterback, and that gives me hope. That gives me a lot of hope. But we'll see. Ryan writes, Tom's guy Jordan Young could be here until he's 46 with that COVID. It feels like he's been here. It does feel like
Ryan has figured out the YouTube machine. Now, I've always loved his Twitter comments, but now he's making it to the live show. I like that.
Do you think Demore Tate, if healthy, will get a lot of playing time versus Notre Dame? I've been dying to see him on the field. Demore Tate is out there, baby. And I'll tell you what, he looks great. I don't think he'll be ready for the Notre Dame game, no. I don't think he'll be.
They like what they're seeing, though.
They very much do, and I do too. But I don't think he'll quite be in full go mode in terms of understanding everything and having enough reps at full speed to get a lot of time in the Notre Dame game, to answer your question. No, I don't think that's going to happen necessarily. Also, oh, really? Okay, thanks, Ross. I didn't look at that. You're correct. The Notre Dame-Wisconsin game is at Soldier Field.
So with that caveat, it's us, baby.
Well, with that caveat, yes, he's right. Mark's right at that point.
78,000 strong. Isn't that our capacity these days? It's not 83 anymore.
No, it's not 83. Stadium's going to get back to that, buddy. Getting down to 65,000, something like that. Actually, I welcome the day. I like give me a 60,000 seat stadium and spread out the seats a little bit.
Yep.
Give me a little extra room.
And we get a cast system.
I don't need
throughout the
fatty,
stadium.
fats rubbing all up on me in 100-degree heat.
Well, ever.
Well, but
you don't need it in 40-degree cold.
Especially not. I might welcome it in 40-degree cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
right.
Get over here.
Get
your fat ass over here. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Hanging.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend. And we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Have you ever finished a painting project at your home or business and thought to yourself, wow, that was fun. I really like how sore my arms and hands are. And those sloppy edges and corners, I'll get used to it. Not a chance. So before you get all your brushes and rollers and buckets and blankets, contact B&B Painting of Tallahassee. Interior painting, exterior, commercial, whatever you need painted, B&B Painting of Tallahassee is your first choice. Get a fast, friendly, and free quote today with a quick visit to bnbpaintingtallahassee.com. That's B&B Painting Tallahassee.com.
Is your business interested in exploring safe, secure, remote access capabilities for your employees? Not sure whether to go with a Mac or with a Windows system? Call the folks at Mac & More Systems, and they can give you the guidance to make the best decision for your needs. Visit macandmoresystems.com today.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The best happy hour in Tallahassee just got happier. Wednesdays at Wahoo Seafood Grill, enjoy half-off appetizers from 3 to 7 p.m. Calamari, boom boom shrimp, gator tails, mudbug fries, and more. All half price from 3 to 7 p.m. every Wednesday. And if you're looking for a fresh lunch to break up the day, Wahoo serves up fresh fish tacos, sandwiches, and po' boys all week long for under $10. Visit Wahoo Seafood Grill today on North Monroe Street. Check out the full menu and order online at wahooseafoodgrill.com.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I love Jeff's complete dismissal of the possibility that Jack Cohn could be any good at all. Horn Dog really stained those Wisconsin quarterbacks for him. No, I've seen him play. It wasn't our Wisconsin quarterback that left the stain. It's that I've seen him play for Wisconsin, and he wasn't very good. Now, a lot of not so good quarterbacks last year looked like Aaron Rodgers against us. Like every one of them.
That's the last. I mean, every time we do something about the defense, I always stress it's since 3rd and Kelly into Harlan Barnett and straight through on to year 0 of Adam Fuller. I mean, we're just used to that. It doesn't matter the classification of the player, FCS, FBS, group of 5, power 5, lower end power 5, like a Duke or Pitt, doesn't matter.
Every single one of them.
The roadie, week 3, Willie's first year, Syracuse. Perfect quarterback rating. Can't really do that in college football, but I'm sure he approached it.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. It's so bad, it's so annoying that I sometimes laugh when I think about it. To keep from crying. It's one of those where you're like, look at this. This is crazy. Because if you let your real feelings out, you'd be that kid in the GIF where you just you go from smiling to crying, all in one fell swoop.
Yep.
That's us watching.
Or the Farley, where he's smiling and then he looks confused.
Yeah.
What?
I know, man. It's crazy. But watching him, I mean, what if Fuller has FSU's D in the top 50 this season? All right, well, then we might win some games. We could get to 6 wins, maybe even 7 if it all breaks right.
Yeah, I think you're looking at 7 or possibly 8. If we're in the top 50, if we're in the top 50,
come on,
top 50 against the ACC. I mean, come on.
I'm telling you, this schedule is brutal given what we're at, man.
But given what we're at, if this defense finishes in the top 50.
Very quietly, Boston College is a very good candidate to finish 2nd in the Atlantic.
That's 2 days in a row we brought them up.
And we play them on the road before the Florida game.
After the Miami game.
And I'm telling you, I hate it. I'm angry about it. It's a disturbing thing to think about for too long because we'll be underdogs. It's hard to get there, man. I think it's just hard to get there. Trying to figure out, okay, so Jonathan writes, I've got a question for you guys. I've been trying to figure out for a while. In 96, when FSU had over 60 sacks, is that close to an NCAA record? And what is the actual record as a team? All right, Director Matthew, get on it.
Oh, there you go. First statistical job. Team record for sacks in an NCAA season. I'm sure it's going to be something from like 1902. 475.
I'm rooting for Adam Fuller. I said it on yesterday's show. He's a good guy. I've enjoyed my conversations with him. I've enjoyed talking football with him. I've learned from him. None of it matters. My observations of what a wonderful personality he has, his acumen for the game, his kindness, the joy of our conversations. None of it means anything if he doesn't get the job done, if they don't get stops. I mean, even occasionally at some point, right? I mean, we haven't gotten stops in forever. For a half against North Carolina, we got stops, and then we didn't. Everything else didn't get stops.
Part of it is Kando goes rogue for the right reasons and has a pick
makes the
six.
play, yeah. But anyhow, the point would be, if you didn't get stops and they sucked this year, and they end up confirming our worst fears, because last year was, I quite literally, the kids like to say literally way too often these days.
They do, literally.
Oh, they say literally all the time.
Yeah.
But here I'm going to do it. I've literally never seen a defense look that poor. Play-to-play game, not at Florida State. I've seen bad defenses.
Wow.
It was unreal.
Because recent memory, we've got a lot of candidates.
Oh, come on, man. That thing last year was the dumbest thing you've ever seen in watching Florida State football. It was the dumbest.
That
was
Louisville
unreal.
game was, that Louisville
Unbelievable.
game was special. It was special.
I was floored. Play-to-play. Just sitting there. And then when you go back and watch it again, and I would for the purposes of doing this show, because I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't trust them. I'd go back and look, and I'd say, what? No, you wouldn't do that in conjunction with this. This tells me this guy doesn't know what this guy's doing and why we're doing any of this. This is mass confusion. Now, I also have said, okay, I'm not really counting much of what we saw. I'm not really counting what we saw last year. I'm just looking at, look, you come in, you don't get a spring, you don't get to install, you don't get to do any of that stuff. You've got half a roster. The ones you do count on come back out of shape, didn't get to work out, come back in completely different body types than we saw when spring started.
Yep.
I mean, it was just a nightmare. Everything was a nightmare. So I'm willing to put it behind me. But the problem is, again, if you go out this year and you're somewhat close to as dreadful, then we don't give you the benefit of the doubt we're currently giving you. You immediately then go, okay, well, this ain't going to get it done, man.
I think they'll be better.
This ain't going to get it done. Well, they have to be. By definition, they have to be.
I think they'll be significantly better. And that still doesn't put you in the top 50, to which Chad says we're doing Red Russians for everybody. If FSU finishes in the top 50 on defense.
Yeah.
We'll have to introduce that to the 93.3 audience.
Little Red Russians.
But they look like in the spring, not to be Lee Sterling, but they look like in the spring.
Somewhere he just perked up if he's listening to the Jeff Cameron show.
Linebacker's going to be tough, but the secondary looks like it has an idea of how to get downhill and hit somebody. Run support, getting off of blocks, diagnosing plays.
Okay.
These are all things that they did not do last fall.
I'm going to say it. The secondary is good.
Oh. That's an annual occurrence.
No. The secondary is good. Now, listen, if you don't have a pass rush, it doesn't matter how good you are on the back end.
Right.
So don't make the mistake of saying that they can't play well and that they don't have the talent to play well, because that's not true. They've got talent in that secondary. Straight up, you see it every day you go out there. There is an abundance of talent in that secondary. That's true across the board. I don't think that's hyperbole. That's not a fan talking. That is, you look at the athleticism, you look at the experience, and you look at the depth, and you say that is a strong segment on this football team. If you had to name the best segment on this football team, you would start there, period. Where else? That's it. And I would also say that's the only really strong segment on this football team.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm kind of bullish on the defensive interior this year.
They're thin. They don't have the depth. So my point is, yeah, you're fine for your starters, but that's why I would say secondary every time and not even blink.
Right.
Because you've got a lot of guys. Miko Dodson's having a great camp. He's looking like the guy they thought he was going to be when he came over. They've got players back there.
Robinson hits.
Oh, forget it.
Travis J is, people want to hear that. They want to know about Travis J.
Noles is a nice player.
Yes.
Dude, they got guys.
I liked him in the spring.
I told you Travis J is going to be a beast. He had a huge practice yesterday when I was there. He looked incredible.
He engulfs people.
And they've got talent there. I too hope Amari Gaynor, Super Creech, if I'm reading that right. I don't know if I'm reading your name right. Sorry about that. All right, Super. I too really want to see Amari Gaynor have a breakout season this year. When people get it twisted because he's a legacy and he looks like an NFL linebacker. And I've stood right next to him and I am in awe. You can't help yourself. You're like, look at this guy. This dude is put together. This is an NFL linebacker. He looks the part.
Yeah, between him and Steven Dix Jr., and they're going to be
dudes.
They look the part.
Here's the problem. Amari Gaynor, I do have hope for. People will say, well, he's our best linebacker. He's already played well. He hadn't really played all that well. Now, they couldn't figure out what to do with him is the problem.
He could be a disruptor in the backfield, which is what everybody sees.
Yeah. I need him. If he has a defined role and he knows what he's doing, then I think you'll really see that talent in that body emerge as a consistent weapon on defense. He'll be the guy that offenses will have to account for. I really hope that's true. But up to now, we really haven't seen that consistency. So that's what Screech is right. That's where you got to have some consistency there. The Dix problem is this, okay? Steven Dix problem. All right, I see.
There we go.
All right.
Good save.
The problem is he looks the part without question. But sometimes when you watch him, it looks like he's running in quicksand. The speed laterally certainly isn't there. If we were playing football 15 years ago, that guy is ideal. Let's trigger downhill. Let's meet the lead back in the hole. Let's light him up. Let him know you're going to be here day in, day out. Or play in, play out. That size, that strength, you would be in love with that. But nowadays, offensive coordinators, and the game is geared towards offense. They isolate linebackers in coverage. They find a way to get the one-on-one matchups, and they abuse you. And if you can't find somebody to put in a game to force them to go elsewhere, they will call that play over and over and over again. And you watch. The first thing to look for this year on our defense in the first game against Notre Dame, and really for this matter anywhere else, I guarantee you every OC we face is going to try to exploit our weakness at linebacker. Mm-hmm. And if we don't show we have an answer for it, you're screwed. They're just, listen, there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody watches film. That guy can't cover.
It's been low-key as frustrating as the offensive line issue, that we can't cover in the middle of the field. We can't cover at linebacker. I mean, I understand that offensive line is a great place to shift your blame for everything that goes wrong. And because it's right, the trenches are where you win and lose games. But to me, it's been as frustrating to watch this linebacker core for 5-6 years.
That's all.
Once we lost the 2013 group even. I mean, it's been a dearth. You've had a couple of guys since we won the national championship that belonged here, that were the quality of player that could cover, come downhill, and make plays in the backfield. We just don't have those guys. And you see it. You're right. When they're put in conflict, watch them get put in conflict. They have to make a choice. And a lot of times our guys stay right in between. They don't make either choice. And so no matter what Notre Dame runs or whatever the opponent is, they gash you. You got to get faster.
Well, and you can't just snap your fingers and make it happen. That's the problem. Like, I don't see the guy on the roster right now.
But I do think, and we'll have to eventually get to the audio of you and Coach Fuller from last week. I think a lot of it still applies, especially since we haven't had a scrimmage yet. But he did say, and I think he was talking about maybe a linebacker or two, he felt bad about some of the kids he had to put out there last year because they weren't ready.
Let's play it when we come back. I talked to Adam Fuller at length last week and really enjoyed my conversation.
Poor suggestion on my part.
Well, you got to get to work. So while I'm buying time for you right now, you should be actively pursuing that video or that audio. That said, I did. And he is so candid. It's another reason that I really am rooting for the guy, is because you want to like him. You want to root for him, because I don't think there's a dearth of understanding. I don't think it's not he doesn't have the acumen for the job, but that doesn't always mean you're a good coach. Knowing something doesn't necessarily mean you can teach it and get kids to buy in and implement it and execute it. That's the big part of it. It's one thing to know something. It's a whole nother to get kids to understand what you know and to act upon it consistently well. But we'll bring that up in a second. He'll join us in a moment. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Do not forget to like and subscribe.
Your local news now.
The Junior League of Tallahassee is partnering with the Florida Department of State to paint a mural honoring historic Florida women. Those featured in the mural include Zora Neale Hurston, author of Their Eyes Were Watching God, Betty Mae Jumper, the first female chief of the Seminole tribe, and environmentalist Marjorie Harris Carr. The mural is located on the CenturyLink building on Calhoun Street. The artists say the project should be finished by the end of the month. Day 14 of the J.T. Burnett trial began with closing statements. The prosecution's closing statement took just over 2 hours the entire morning. The defense began its closing argument arguments after the lunch break. The prosecution says Burnett spoke about why, how, and who to pay to get deals done, also asking the undercover FBI agents to bring him in. The prosecution suggested the jury compare what Burnett said on the stand with everyone watching to what he said when he believed only the undercover agents were watching. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Mac & More Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macandmoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. Otherwise, mainly cloudy skies expected. Daytime highs approaching 94. North winds around 5 miles per hour. Chance for scattered storms again tonight. Lows level off around 76. Mainly cloudy skies expected. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. Highs around 94. Mainly sunny skies and calm. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Greg Tish, Real Talk 93.3.
Friday morning on the Greg Tish Show with me, Greg Tish, and him, Matty Rowe. We welcome in John Reed and
Terry Madigan.
And we also welcome in
Jay Revel.
As we're going to talk a little Tallahassee history. I'm going to teach you a little bit about Bull Heagley tomorrow, Matty Rowe.
Do tell.
I will tomorrow at 8:30. But the show starts at 6 a.m. right here on Tallahassee's locally owned radio station, Real Talk 93.3.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Media Network has you covered on your drive home. Grab our I suddenly can't talk. What the hell's going on here? Grab our podcast every day before you hit the road and on your drive to work. Subscribe to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Diluted Coffee. The latest from our Warchant teammates Corey Clark and Aslan Ejavandi.
2 for 2.
Well,
we'll give that to you.
I purposely delayed it. I wanted you guys to feel the tension in the air.
That was a good 1.4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice.
Wake Up Warchant, wherever you get podcasts. Jeff Cameron Show, wherever you get podcasts. Warchant network of multimedia options. There you go.
That's the goal here. And again, if you're driving around Tallahassee or watching on Warchant TV, you can only catch 10 minutes of it, because you're working, you're doing a job. Then when you head home for the day, that's when you download us. That's the cool thing about this now. With the 2 hours, yeah, you can listen to us live, but then also that same day when you're riding home, we're right there with you, boys and girls.
Hey, before we get, we're probably going to have to move. I screwed our producer here, everybody. I just kind of spoke off the cuff without checking to see if he had the audio in the bank. And since I was the one who recorded the audio and sent it to him via text and not email, it's not in there. We'll play the audio tomorrow. That's my bad.
I could play it off my phone speaker.
Oh, that'd be weird. And it's not edited. There's a lot of chit chat.
That was a loud room too for the luncheon.
A lot of football related talk prior to the football related talk, and then you're going to be like, "What are we doing?" Smoke writes, Cushney is going to feast against our weaker opponents. I think he will be the difference in that sleepy wake game. I say his name right?
Who, Smoke?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. That's Cushney. That's right. Yeah, that's a sleepy 3:30 kick. They announced the first 3 weeks. We are playing that game at 3:30.
I'm glad it's not a night game.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I'm going to that game. I think I'm going to go to that game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm telling our bosses who are listening right now, send me to that game, guys. I got
That's
you.
a biggie.
I got you covered. I feel like it's the biggest game of the year.
It's either the season because you're 1-1 or a real opportunity to have a September like we haven't had since when? 2015?
September to remember, everybody.
They call it Dovember.
I cannot get a sense of what that kid is. I really can't because he's tiny.
And he's only had 4 practices.
Well, he's short.
5 now.
He's a weird-looking kid. And here's what I mean by that. He does not look, and the reason he had to go where he did was because he doesn't have a traditional defensive end's body at all. He's short, but he's really long-armed. So the long arm part of it works, but the shortness doesn't. But I just don't get a sense of where he is or what he's going to be able to contribute. I need to see him in. This is where you got to be careful about how you assess where we are through the first 4 days. They have not been going all out, and that's why I said I'm going to sneak into the scrimmage on Saturday.
Oh, is that right?
I'm sneaking in. It's not so sneaky if I tell the world about it.
That's right.
But I am. I'll find a way.
You're going to be wearing camo that looks like brick, so you could just be at the last row.
Norvell's going to look up. Why is that brick walking? But the point is, I'm going to find a way. I have to. Because I want to see some of these guys that we're excited about. I don't know if we should be until I see them in pads where, we get to see the separation.
And that's tomorrow. First day in pads is out in Jacksonville. Go figure.
Also, I see on the chat, folks are talking about Hunter being a cornerback and a receiver. Yes, please. Yes, please. I'm with you guys on this 100%. When Travis Hunter gets here, do not limit the greatness. Embrace the greatness. Embrace every aspect of the greatness.
There's your slogan.
Embrace the greatness, Travis Hunter. Do not pigeonhole that kid and say he has to be a corner and only a corner. No, sir. We got greatness right there. That kid is a superstar in the making. And you know what? Normally I hesitate to say that about an incoming recruit before we ever see him on the field here. But there are guys every now and again that you look at and you go, whoa, that's different. That doesn't make sense. That's who that kid is.
And he's got the name to go with it. That's important.
He is a superstar. We should make him a Heisman candidate sooner rather than later. You get that kid playing both ways. You get that kid, hell, if you have to, let him return kicks. I mean, I know you might say, well, go easy there, Killer.
LeBourne.
Yeah.
Kalen LeBourne, man.
I know. I am so pumped, though. That is an unbelievable get. He's the cornerstone of the class. He's been a champion for the class. But when you watch him as a receiver, he's natural. He's a playmaker. And obviously, we know what he is as a corner. Just brash. Like, you don't usually describe athletes that way. But his comfort level with his athleticism allows him to take chances in ways that most people can't. And he's just emboldened by that athleticism, and he knows it. He's so comfortable in his body that you watch him do things. He baits people. He's unbelievable.
Are you calling him a get? You going to label him as a get?
Oh, he's a get. He's going nowhere. He's going nowhere.
Even if we hit the side of the mountain?
I'm telling
what's
you,
the threshold? You feel comfortable at a 4-win season that Travis Hunter will be
coming.
Here?
He's coming.
Ooh, okay.
He's coming.
Embrace the greatness indeed. Let's go get that T-shirt made.
He's unwavering.
We can put him on it. NIL. Here we go.
He's unwavering. I'm telling you, that kid, look at the way he calls out people on Twitter when they're like, no way FSU is going to get Travis Hunter. Like, a lot of people will say that because they're expecting us to be average to poor. And so immediately they're thinking, well, once that happens, Travis is going to have to say, well, I guess it's not turning it around. It's the wrong staff. I'm going elsewhere. Every time somebody does that, he's the first to quote tweet him and be like, I'll bet you I'm going to Florida State. He does it every time.
Ooh, that feels good.
It does feel good. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. We'll come back, wrap it up in a moment.
I called Swain, pools and spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to. Swain Pools and Spas is your pool and spa everything store. Swain sells them, Swain repairs them, Swain renovates them, Swain services them. Swain even has pool and spa supplies. And they'll test your water, too. Look for the big Swain sign on Tharp Street. Call them at 386-7113 or online at SwainPools.com.
Swain Pools and Spas. When you're looking to get anything done, chances are you've got a guy for that. And when it comes to your car or truck repairs, the team at Tallahassee Car Care are your guys. The kind of guys that have motor oil running through their veins. The kind of guys that prefer grease remover over frou-frou flowery scented soaps. And these guys will tell you the truth with no fluff. When your car or truck needs any kind of repairs, look for Tallahassee Car Care on West Tharp Street, right behind Swain Pools and Spas. Tallahassee Car Care.
Remember that guy that used to wake up early to make the donuts? Well, the barbecue equivalent is Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, north of Havana. Kenny and Dave are up before the sun smoking choice beef, chicken, and pork. He smokes it slow and low, so it's ready to go for lunch and dinner. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Look for the 3 flagpoles north of Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Get your fill at the grill.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Of the career. The only reason I mentioned that Chris Davis, 35 years old, has been ineffective as a baseball player for several seasons now, but hit something close to 300 home runs in his career. It occurs to me, Tom, that Chris Davis has had a really good run. He's had a hip injury. It was more serious, quote unquote, than he thought. Now, my man made $41 million over the last 2 years to not play baseball. Hip soreness, Tom.
Oh, yeah. The worst.
$41 million.
Can't move. What do you want me to do?
Guys, I'm going to be there in spirit tonight. I'm going to cheer you on. I'm really proud of you. I hope you guys go out there and get that W.
Yeah, Jed Lowry did that to the Mets last year.
$41 million to not do a damn thing.
Lowry showed up. I think it was maybe 2 years worth of showing up at a knee brace to spring training.
Hey, I'll show up every day with any ailment.
Yeah.
And whatever visual evidence you need that I'm suffering from said ailment, as long as you don't keep that gravy train from coming my way every day, right? I'm there. I'm here for you. All right, guys, let's pick him up. That's me in the corner making $41 million.
That'll put a roof over your head.
You think? Nicely done. So will T-Spark Enterprises. Roofing and construction. Serving Tallahassee, Thomasville, Georgia, and surrounding areas for roofing, construction, and commercial building. Request a quote today on our site or give us a call, 850-766-1340.
Hey, I've done that.
I have too, and in all seriousness, no announcer voice here, I'm letting you know that T-Spark has worked on Tom's home, his first ever home.
That's correct.
I mean, think about how important that is.
I entrusted Travis with my first home.
Yep, it's a big damn deal. And my first real home, I had a tiny home that we once lived in early on before I ever had kids. My wife was more responsible than I was, still is. And she, while going through school, saved up and bought a home, which eventually I moved into, the deadbeat that I was. I moved into that thing and immediately started to complain about how small it was, like an a-hole.
Yep.
And then from there,
hashtag a-hole.
And from there, we moved to the house that we're in now. And the first thing we did was have T-Spark come out and get us a new roof. And that's something. Got to get a new roof.
That's the
right thing to do.
You guys go way back.
Probibles, fired up, and I'll tell you who sponsors it.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. Pirates are losing to the Cardinals because that is a law. 6-4. Wade LeBlanc started that game. JT Brubaker's not any good. He started it for the Pirates. Let's go to the night's games. Let's get after it. Let's go. Oakland and Cleveland, Chris Bassett, Eli Morgan. Milwaukee and Chicago, Brandon Woodruff and Kyle Hendricks. Washington takes on your New York Mets.
That's
Lizzie.
correct. They've already lost once today, have the Nats.
Hey, I see you got Trevor Williams from the Pirates.
Oh, yeah. He was a throw-in.
Yeah. Take this, Slappy.
We sent him straight to AAA. Does he start tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Eric Feedy starts for Washington. You'll throw my man, Trevor Williams. Detroit and Baltimore, Matt Manning, Josh Means. Tampa Bay owns Boston, Drew Rasmussen. Going to start tonight for the Rays. Just fun to say. Tanner Houck going to start for Boston. Texas and Seattle, Mike Fultonevich. Ooh. We're in midseason form. Well, it's late in the year, Jeff. Marco Gonzalez going to start for Seattle, Cincinnati, and Atlanta. Vladimir Gutierrez. Kyle Mueller. The Braves are on fire. Albies with the home run. They're going to the playoffs, Tom. I know how much you embrace that.
Ozzy Albies on the Braves Radio Network.
Well done. Yanks, White Sox, worth watching. Andrew Haney and Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn is freaking 10-2 with a 2.10. What in the world
Is
is
he
going on?
really?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Lance Lynn out here dominating.
With the cut-off three-quarter sleeve.
Nuts. Toronto and the Angels, Jose Barrios and Shohei Ohtani. Yes, please.
That's a good name game.
Yeah, Barrios Ohtani. By the way, I got to tell you this. Shohei Ohtani 6-1 with a 2.93 in the American League. And then all those home runs.
And he mashes.
Like, if you jumped on that MVP train a month and a half ago, you're making a lot of money. It's now we're at the point of the season where it's almost a no-brainer.
There's 5 dudes any given year who have a different sound when they connect, and Ohtani is on that list of 5.
San Diego and Arizona, Yu Darvish and Taylor Widener. Colorado, San Francisco, Herman Marquez and Logan Webb. Atlanta and Washington, Charlie Morton. And to be determined.
Is that tomorrow?
I don't know. No, it looks like a doubleheader, maybe?
We're playing the Mets.
Yeah, I got it all wrong, right? There's no way. Yeah, this game's in tomorrow. Okay.
That'd be a quick flight.
Chris Sale's pitching tomorrow. Boston good pitch. Gets him back. That's a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Is that it? That's all? Good work out of you, Matthew. Good work, Tom. Thanks to all of you. Be good, everybody. Like and subscribe, Warchant TV, and listen to 93.3 Real Talk Radio. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Listen to Greg Tish tomorrow morning. Peace.